Hello dear students, welcome to a new geometry lesson. Today we'll be talking about the slope of a straight line. In the slope of a straight line, to find the slope of a straight line between any 2 points A and B, then we use this formula that m, which is the slope, equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Let's now see some notes. If the slope of the straight line is positive, then the type of the angle between the line segment and the coordinate is an acute angle. If the slope of the straight line is negative, then the type of the angle between the line segment and the coordinate is an obtuse angle. If the slope of the line is 0, then the straight line is parallel to the x-axis, or we can call that it's perpendicular to the y-axis. If the slope of the straight line is undefined, this means that the line is parallel to the y-axis, or we can say that it's perpendicular to the x-axis. Another note, the slope is equal to tan theta. If the slopes between two straight lines are equal, then the two straight lines are parallel to each other. If m1, which means the slope of the first line, and m2, which means the slope of the second line, multiplied together, the result is -1, then these two lines are perpendicular to each other. Let's now move on to example 1. In this question, the question says, prove that the straight line which passes through the 2 points 2, 3, and -1 and 6 is parallel to the straight line which makes with the positive direction of x-axis an angle of measure 135 degrees. In here, we can say that the slope of the first line is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which is 6 minus 3 over -1 minus 2. It's equal to -1. If the question says the angle is 135, for sure we know that the slope equals tan theta. And here, the theta is the angle, which is 135 degrees. So tan 135 is equal to -1, which is equal to the slope. So as you can see here from the first one and the second one, that both slopes are equal to -1, then the two lines are parallel to each other. So we can say that if, or since, m1 equals m2, which is equal to -1, then the two lines are parallel. Example 2, the question says, if A, B, C, and D, we have their coordinates given, and AB is parallel to CD. Once the question tells you that we have two lines parallel to each other, so automatically the two slopes of these two lines are equal to each other. So here we have AB is parallel to CD. Then we're going to find the slope of AB, we're going to find the slope of CD, and we'll make them equal to each other. So we can say that the slope of AB is equal to the slope of CD. Then y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So 1 over 3 is equal to 1 over x plus 4. Then x plus 4 is equal to 3. So x equals -1. Example number 3, if the points 0, 1, x3, 2, 5 are located on one straight line, then find the value of x. If some points are said to be together on the same line or are said to be collinear, then if you get the slope of any line that is connecting between any of the points, all the slopes are going to be equal because they are the slopes of the same line. So in this question here, you can say that the slope of the line connecting the first 2 points, that is 3 minus 1 over x minus 0, is equal to 5 minus 1 over 2 minus 0. Then 2 over x is equal to 4 over 2. Then x equals 2 times 2 over 4. So the value of x equals 1. Let's now move on to exercise 4. Find the slope of the straight line which makes the positive direction of x-axis a positive angle where sine equals 3 over 5. Sine this angle equals 3 over 5. So here it's given that sine angle theta is equal to 3 over 5. Then if we draw this triangle in here, this right triangle, and you say that this is angle theta, the sine is the opposite over the hypotenuse, so you can easily get this side by the Pythagorean theorem as square root of 5 squared minus 3 squared, so it's equal to 4. So to find the slope, we know that the slope equals tan theta. So the slope equals, we know that tan is opposite over adjacent, so the slope is 3 over 4. Example 5, the question says, find the slope of the straight line which is perpendicular to the straight line which passes through the 2 points A and B. First of all, we find the slope of AB. The slope of AB is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Then the slope of AB is equal to 8. So the slope of the perpendicular line is, before finding the slope of the perpendicular line, we know that if two lines are perpendicular, the product of their slopes is -1. If you multiply the slope of the first line by the slope of the second line, the product is -1. But if I have one of them, to easily get the slope of the other line, you can just get the negative reciprocal. What do you mean by the negative reciprocal? You switch the sign. If it was positive, make it negative. If it was negative, make it positive. And flip the number. So here, the slope was 8. Then to find the slope of the perpendicular line, you switch the sign, you flip the number. So the slope now is -1 over 8. When we reach the evaluation part, please pause the video, try to solve the questions yourself, and then play the video to check your solution. If the straight line AB is parallel to the y-axis, where A is x and 7, and B is 3 and 5, then find the value of x. As long as AB is parallel to the y-axis, this means that the slope is undefined. The slope is undefined, meaning that the denominator is 0. So the slope y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 is undefined. Undefined meaning that the denominator is equal to 0. so x is equal to 3. In the second question, if the straight line CD is parallel to the x-axis, so for sure that we know that if a line is parallel to the x-axis, then the slope is 0. So the slope, which is y minus 2 over negative 5 minus 4 is equal to 0. Then y minus 2 is equal to 0. Then y is equal to 2. Dear students, by finishing and solving this problem, we came to the end of our session today. Thank you very much, dear students, and wishing you best of luck.